These are the films that made Hollywood great. Welcome today in this installment of our series on the greatest movies of all time. We're counting down our picks for the top 10 movies of all time. These movies are selected based on their iconic status, critical acclaim, box office success, and watchability, and not what your film studies professor or most artsy movie critics would pick. Grab your popcorn, dim the lights, and action. At number 1, The Godfather. Shedding light on the mafia world like few films before or since, the Best Picture winning Godfather follows the Corleone family as the reins of the business are passed from Don Vito to his son Michael. In this film and its 1974 sequel, Francis Ford Coppola crafts a world that allows us to care for and even identify with men who are fundamentally bad. And amazing performances by legends like Brando Pacino and Dual elevate the subtle writing and graphic violence to make The Godfather a truly great film.
Dan Corleone.
Number 2, Citizen Kane. It's a wonder that a first-time director was able to cobble together what is now considered one of the greatest films ever made. But with Citizen Kane, Orson Welles did exactly that. Welles co-wrote, directed, produced and starred in this film, which tells the life story of a wealthy media mogul, mostly through flashbacks. To create his Oscar-winning masterpiece, Welles employed innovative and groundbreaking cinematic and storytelling techniques, creating a layered film that appeals to both cinephiles and the general public alike.
Repeat, Dorothy Comingore. I won't have to repeat it much longer. You'll be repeating it. And here's George Coulouris, who's a grand actor. I'll say that name again. George Coulouris. Watch it. Here comes Everett Sloane. Look out, Everett. Oops. Everett Sloane.
Number 3, Pulp Fiction. Is this film driven by its standout performance? Yes. Is it driven by its extreme violence? Of course. But more than that, Quentin Tarantino's Oscar-winning Pulp Fiction is driven by subtle, articulate, and pop culture-heavy dialogue. The non-linear plot follows an interwoven group of colorful characters in intricate detail. With such dark humor, you laugh in spite of yourself. With a soundtrack that punctuates the mood, and sound bites you'll be quoting for years, Pulp Fiction has everything necessary to make you watch it over and over.
Tyranny of evil men. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brother.
Number 4, Psycho. A few scenes as memorable and influential as Alfred Hitchcock's shower incident with its many cuts, many angles, and subtle hints of violence and nudity. But to downplay the rest of Psycho would be fatal. This thriller is Hitchcock's masterwork. Critics were initially divided in their opinions on the film, but Psycho eventually earned 4 Oscar nominations. Shifting the norms of acceptable on-screen violence and sexuality, this movie surprised everyone who saw it. But even if you know the secrets of Psycho, it's as terrifying as ever. Number 5. Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. While the first film in George Lucas's Star Wars saga was a fun space adventure, the second is much darker and more emotional. Considered by many as the strongest of the three films, Empire is not only a feast for the eyes with its expensive and extravagant visuals, it's also a timeless story to which we can all relate. Aside from the distant planets, lightsabers, and alien creatures that is innovative and creative, this chapter in the life of Luke Walker and friends is epic filmmaking at its finest.
They cross trackless voids to unknown worlds. A galactic odyssey against oppression.
Number 6. The Dark Knight. Dark, twisted, and with a depth not present in most comic book movies, this second film and Christopher Nolan's Batman franchise redefined the genre and appealed to both comic book fans and the general public. Tracking the caped crusader as he battles the infamous Joker, The Dark Knight blurs the lines between superhero and supervillain, painting each as a complex and embattled character. Standout Heath Ledger performance that won the actor an Oscar. Batman's story was given a decisively gritty sequel and one that surpassed the original.
And here we go. This city deserves a better class of criminal. And I'm gonna give it to him. No! You'll see. I'll show you.
You either die a hero.
Number 7. The Shawshank Redemption. Based on Stephen King's novella, The Shawshank Redemption follows a man as he is carted off to jail for his wife's murder. But rather than being a tale of despair and hopelessness, it's a story of fortitude, friendship, fidelity, and of course redemption. Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman working together to bring the story to life. This Frank Darabont film was not a runaway box office, but its positive reviews, eventual popularity, and 7 Academy Award nominations ensured its spot in cinema history.
You can sit right here. I must admit, I didn't think much of Andy the first time I laid eyes on him. He had a quiet way about him. A walk and a talk that just wasn't normal around here.
There are places in the world that aren't made out of stone. There's something inside they can't touch.
What are you talking about?
Hope.
Let me tell you something, my friend.
Number 8. Gone with the Wind. Painting a romanticized picture of the war-torn South before, during, and following the Civil War, David O. Selznick's Gone with the Wind presents the viewers with a strong female heroine in search of control, winning a record number of Oscars, including an historic one for African-American actress Hattie McDaniel. The film is beautifully shot, technically brilliant, and ambitious in scope. Ultimately, with all its romance and heartbreak, Gone with the Wind is a cinematic landmark that won't soon be forgotten.
No, I don't love you.
It's a lie.
Well, even if it is a lie, do you think I'd go off and leave Melanie and the baby?
I'm not cornered. And you'll never corner me, Rhett Butler, or frighten me. You've lived in dirt so long, you can't understand anything else. And you're jealous of something you can't understand. Good night.
It's not that easy, Scarlett. You turned me out while you chased Ashley Wilkes, while you dreamed of Ashley Wilkes. This is one night you're not turning me out.
A love affair you'll remember as long as you live, filled with all the fire and fury of the times in which it happened.
Number 9. The Wizard of Oz with Al Frank-Baum's universally appealing stories, its backbone, this Technicolor masterpiece transcends age and race to tell the coming-of-age story of a young Kansas girl who dreamed of a land somewhere over the rainbow. Though it's now considered one of the most iconic films in Hollywood history, Wizard of Oz was not commercially successful upon its release. However, it's a mix of timeless music, comedy, and a relatable moral has made this a film all parents recommend to their children and enjoy watching with them.
Afraid of her? I'll see you reach the wizard.
The greatest family film of all time returns to the big screen for 1 week only, remastered in IMAX 3D.
Won't you take me with you?
Why, of course I will.
Hooray! Because of the wonderful things he does. Tigers and bears.
Oh, my little party's just beginning. Bring me that girl and her doll. Now fly! I'm trying to get home to you.
Number 10. Apocalypse. With cinema legends like Martin Sheen, Robert Duvall, and Marlon Brando in the lead roles, Apocalypse now crackles with scene after scene of horrifically and masterfully executed death and destruction. Mirroring Joseph Conrad's novel Heart of Darkness, Francis Ford Coppola's gritty Oscar-nominated Vietnam War epic follows a group of soldiers tasked with assassinating a rogue colonel. But the result is less a journey about the horrors faced in the trenches and more about the shadows of the soul.
My only friend, the end.
Are you an assassin? I'm a soldier.
With that, this episode of Good Tens has come to an end. Hope you enjoyed, and if you did, consider leaving a like.